On tonight's North Fulton Prep Rally, it's Separation Friday, up and down the North Metro. Alpharetta and Milton, that promises to be a good one, and it comes down to just a PAT, only we've got it. And over at Johns Creek, the Glads are still fighting for the top spot, but would Lambert bring gunpowder and lead? Plus, Kings Ridge, Wesleyan, and Blessed Trinity, we've got your back too. So lock it down for your North Fulton TV source, North Fulton Prep Rally, right now.
Comcast presents your source for North Fulton High School sports. This is North Fulton Prep Rally.
Hello and welcome to another edition of North Fulton Prep Rally, where we bring you all the action from your favorite North Fulton high schools. And you can catch us here on Comcast Channel 25 year-round, weeknights at 6, 8, and 10. I'm Brian Wise, joined along by Nathan Shutter. And Nathan, it was a big weekend in North Fulton, and the region races are coming down the wire, so let's jump right into our keys to the weekend.
Yeah, the Alpharetta Raiders are still on top, defeat Milton 20-19. Missed extra points with a difference once again for Milton in this loss.
And how about the Gladiators shutting out Lambert?
Oh, huge win for Johns Creek. They defeat Lambert 23-0. That win creates a three-way tie atop Region 7-4A with the Chattahoochee Cougars involved as well.
The Wolves win on the road.
Big win over Kings Ridge, 39-13. Will Anderson, Rodney Morris continue to put up big numbers. Tigers couldn't keep pace over the final three quarters after tying the game early on and kind of hanging with them that first half.
Yeah, well, it was a big weekend, so let's go ahead and get straight to the highlights. And we start things off at Milton, where the Eagles welcomed in first place Alpharetta. Alpharetta with the ball early now in the first quarter as dancing was all around. Joshua Dobbs is back to pass and finds a wide open Carlos Burst, who has nothing but green in front of him. 65 yards later with the touchdown, and the Raiders lead early 7-0. Milton would answer on their next drive as Colin McElroy gives to Trayvon Paul, who tries to get around the edge and to the outside, finally does for the touchdown, and the Eagles trail 7-6 after the missed PAT.
Third quarter now, Dobbs from the shotgun finds Kyle Wilson on the slant route. Wilson breaks a tackle and is off to the races. 57-yard touchdown reception. Raiders up 13-6.
And on the next Raiders possession, Dobbs again back to pass, then finds Carlos Burst wide open for the 46-yard touchdown. Raiders would hold off a late Milton rally to win this one at 20-19. And Nathan, it was a big win for Alpharetta. So how does this impact the region title?
Well, it puts Alpharetta one step closer to making the playoffs for the second straight year and puts them in the driver's seat for that region title. Hey, the coaches and players aren't going to look ahead, but I will. They have Roswell, North Forsyth, and Centennial left on the schedule. Roswell and North Forsyth are combined 1-11 on the year. They should win those two games. Centennial is going to be the big matchup. After that big loss to West Forsyth, they're right back in the title mix. That is going to be a huge game for Alpharetta and Centennial, and will say a lot to who's going to be the region champion this year.
Yeah, well, as we always say, it keeps getting closer and closer. And let's get back to some more highlights now, as John Creek was looking to rebound after the tough loss to Chattahoochee. They would welcome in the unbeaten Longhorns of Lambert. And after a turnover by the Longhorns, Johns Creek would take an early first quarter lead on this Kyle Fowler 42-yard field goal. Gladiators up 3-0. Later in the quarter, Sky Overton with the give to Chase Solomon, who's going to get around the corner and into the end zone for the touchdown. Johns Creek leading 10-0 at that point. Turnovers were the key to this game as Lambert's David Brodus drops back to pass and has the ball picked off by Matt Ismar. One of two on the night for the junior, and Johns Creek wins this one big, 23-0, and a huge win for the Gladiators. What does that do for their region chances?
Well, it puts them right back in the mix. This win over Lambert creates a three-way tie atop the region. Also helps out Chattahoochee, so you know the Cougar fans are happy with this victory. All three of those teams are one loss at the top of the region. They all defeated each other, so it'll come down to a complicated tiebreaker, which we'll cover in the next couple weeks if it comes down to that, if all these teams finish out the season with wins. Johns Creek has a decent path. They have a bye, then 3 games to finish out the season. None of those teams have winning records, so you know, you still have to play the game, but you have to like where they sit right now. And talk about the coaches and players. After that emotional loss to Chattahoochee, to be able to bounce back and defeat Lambert, not only defeat Lambert, but shut them out, causing 6 turnovers in the game. A huge win for Johns Creek as far as confidence goes. And this team could definitely win this region title, and they would have earned it if they do get to it.
That was a very, very impressive victory. More highlights now as we check in on the Tigers of Kings Ridge. They were playing host to the Wesleyan Wolves, and we start off in the first quarter. Wesleyan's driving, and Will Anderson drops back, and he's going to complete a screen pass to Charles Mack, who finds a seam, past some blockers and untouched into the end zone. Wolves up 7-0. On the next possession, Kings Ridge would answer as the pitch goes to Therese Miller, who finds a hole in the left side and bursts right through it. 44 yards later, the Tigers tie the game up at 7.
Next Wolves possession, Anderson back to pass. He fires a bullet downfield to Rodney Morris, who fights his way down inside the 5-yard line.
Then on the ensuing play, Anderson's going to keep it here for the touchdown, and the Wolves take a 13-7 lead. Second quarter, Kings Ridge with the ball. The give is to Miller, who has the ball knocked out of his hands on a great defensive effort by the Wolves. The fumble is recovered by Jahmai Jones.
The Wolves would capitalize as Anderson throws the ball out to Mack, who then flips it to Xander Yost on a flea flicker, and Yost is going to take it in for the score. Wesleyan now leads 19-7.
Kings Ridge would answer on their next drive as Bailey Miller's back to pass, throws deep down the right side and is going to complete to Devin Schmidt, who then takes the ball down inside the Wolves' 20-yard line. And a few plays later, Miller would find Schmidt again, this time in the end zone, as the Tigers trail 19-13 at the half.
Wesleyan would get right back to the scoring in the third. Anderson from the shotgun finds Rodney Morris over the middle of the field, and Morris takes the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line.
That would set up this 1-yard touchdown run by Brandon Gilliam, and the Wolves would have a 25-13 lead at that point. Wesleyan would have the ball again deep in Tiger territory. Anderson finds Morris, who's going to scamper in for the touchdown. The Wolves would then go on to add another touchdown, and they win this one 39-13 over Kings Ridge. This game was close early on, Nathan, so what changed and what separated the teams?
Will Anderson, the quarterback for Wesleyan, is the difference in this ball game, and he's the difference in Wesleyan's season so far. The 2 games he did not play, the offense was non-existent. When he is under center, this is a completely different team. He goes for over 300 yards passing in this game with 2 touchdowns, and he can also hurt you with his legs. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. He is the difference. He's going to be the key. If Wesleyan has him under center healthy, then they can make a deep playoff run. Kings Ridge did a great job staying with them early. Therese Miller with another big game, but just too much offense in that second half. Wesleyan, a very good team, especially when Will Anderson is running the show.
Yeah, you always like to have a good quarterback there behind leading your team. Let's get back to the highlights now as Blessed Trinity looks to improve to 500 on the season as they travel to play the Jaguars of Jackson. And it's the first quarter. Spencer McManus with a screen pass to John Davis, who looks to throw himself deep downfield to a wide open Sam Roberts, who has the ball slip right through his hands. Later in the drive, McManus gives to tailback Jordan Denson, who busts his way through the line before being tripped up by the Jaguars.
Next play, McManus drops back to pass, finds Nathaniel Maggio open in the flat. Maggio turns upfield and gets a Titan first down.
Then a couple of plays later, it's Denson again, straight up the middle for the Titans, who are mounting quite a drive. McManus again back to pass. He'll find Thomas McCormick open, who heads down the sideline before getting knocked out of bounds.
Still on the same drive, second quarter now, McManus play action, rolls to his right, throws back left to Sam Roberts, who finds a seam and makes his way inside the Jaguar 5-yard line.
Great run and catch here, and then on the next play, the give is to Denson, who's going to fight his way down just inside the 1-yard line. And that would set up this quarterback keeper by McManus, giving the Titans a second quarter lead 7-0.
Shadarius Ferguson drops back to pass for the Jaguars, throws downfield, and the pass is deflected on a great play by Brad Foster for the Titans.
And later in the drive, the Titans defense would stuff the Jaguars on 4th down, and Titans go on to win this one 21-12. And a big win for the Titans, but they have an even bigger test on the horizon.
A huge game on the road this Friday night at Lovett. Both teams 2-0 in the sub-region. A win here for Blessed Trinity would put them in the driver's seat to win that sub-region and get into that region championship game. Lovett's only loss on the season was to Buford, a team that everybody seems to lose to. So Lovett, a very good squad this year, but if they can find a way to get a big road win, they're definitely in the driver's seat in that sub-region, a chance to play in the region championship.
Yeah, they've played well in region play, has Blessed Trinity. All right, now to recap the rest of Week 7 football action from around North Fulton, and we start things off with the Knights of Centennial looking for their second win in as many weeks.
Another big win, defeat Roswell 32-30. They are now 3-4 overall, but 2-1 in the region. That's the crucial one. Back and forth game that Roswell had actually led 14-13 at the half. Hornets led 30-23 in the fourth quarter. Jimmy Myers scored with 31 seconds left. Centennial went for 2 and didn't make it, but they get the onside kick and then get in the field goal range for Connor Davis to hit the game winner.
How about Northview?
Tough loss to West Forsyth, 39-22. They couldn't slow down the Wolverine offense on the road. They were able to put up some points, just not enough. Northview will return home this Friday night to take on Milton. They spent the last 2 Friday nights in Forsyth County, so probably be nice for the Titan fans and players to be at home for a change.
How about Chattahoochee?
Big win. They defeat Woodland 58-20. Cougars took a 14-point halftime lead and blew it out in the second. Travis Marshall, a huge game for Chattahoochee at quarterback. The defense shut Woodland out in the second half. Next up, a home game with Sequoia for Chattahoochee. With Johns Creek's win, of course, Chattahoochee now in a first-place tie with Lambert and Johns Creek in the region.
How about North Springs?
Another tough loss for the Spartans. They lose to Washington 44-14. They're 0-6 on the season. They put points up on the board for the second straight week, but the defense couldn't quite slow down Washington. Things don't get any easier with a road trip to Grady this week. The Knights are unbeaten on the season, scoring 30 points per game. I think the Spartans could get a win this season, but probably not this week.
And Marist.
A blowout win over Lakeside, 53-0. This was a close game last year, not so much this year. The first shutout of the season for the defense at Marist, who's only given up 6 points per game. Mays did not help their cause, though. They lost to Tucker, so Tucker remains in first place in the region. It appears Marist will be playing for second unless Tucker somehow loses twice. And that's going to be a huge game when Marist and Mays face off, most likely for that #2 spot in the region.
All right, well, let's get back to Centennial real quick. Are the Knights a contender for the region title?
They absolutely are, and I did not think I would be saying that a couple weeks ago when they let West Forsyth beat them 70-20. I thought maybe their season was done, but credit the coaches, the players, everyone over at Centennial. They really rallied, circled the wagons, and they've come out and won not only 2 straight games, but 2 very close games where they had to rise up in the last minute of the game to get the victory. This is a very dangerous team. They lost a lot of players off last year's team, so they're just now probably starting to come together. They're going to be a very dangerous team heading down the stretch, and they are definitely a contender for the Region 6 title.
All right, that'll do it for this week. Catch us back here on Comcast Channel 25 for game highlights and features. And be sure to like North Fulton Prep Rally on Facebook. And you can also follow us on Twitter to see what's happening on the show. For Nathan Shutter, I'm Brian Wise, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.